with Bishop Joshua Maponga.
Muruti.
Yes, we talk about a lot of things on our Facebook page, Power FM Zimbabwe. Are you online right now? Show by raising your hand on our Facebook page, Power FM Zimbabwe, because we are live on our Facebook page. Mamuga say, Bishop.
Wakuru, Magadino. Very eventful weekend. Lots of traveling.
Lots of traveling.
From Gokwe to Chirezi and back. Yeah. Yes.
Learning a lot of things.
Yeah, but I want to make an announcement. And I want to tell the MP for Sanyati area, we need him to go to the president and get devolution funds and fix that road. That road is terrible.
Hey, talk of the roads when the road to Lower Kweru.
Sure.
From town to Lower Kweru akusela ndlela baba. I think like you said, the MP is supposed to do something.
No. And the problem is that Patsani, Imal is a devolution is gone.
The money is there.
It's there.
So you mean the MP is not doing his job?
MP is not talking. He's not talking. So the MP for Sanyati, I'm coming for you. I want to know when other places are being developed. Where are you? Go to your president, go to the Minister of Public Works and etc. Get that road fixed. It's terrible.
So to the MP, as you're making your way to collect your devolution funds, so you can also learn about some cooking tips, cooking skills right here on Power FM Zimbabwe with Bishop Joshua Maponga. Yeah. When did we leave last week?
Hey, last week we were doing table manners.
That was a week before last week.
Last week we ended up doing what? I can't remember also.
Last week we couldn't do the program. You were out of the country.
Last week I couldn't do it.
Yeah, so we did.
He just came for 10 minutes, remember? 10 minutes.
Wow. Appetizer. And I think today I want us to move into temperaments. Temperaments and how do we cope and interact with each other at a meaningful level.
Just to simplify it to the listeners, temperaments, what exactly do you mean?
Matauriro, magariro, mabatiro, mashandira atinoita. Zvakangova kwana Jehovah zviri matiri. Uriko munhu unongoseka, uriko munhu unongotsamwa, uriko munhu wakangonyarara, uriko munhu wakangofundumara, uriko munhu unongogara chingova nemubvunzo why? Zvisiri zvokuti wakazvidzidzira. Zvinhu zvongoberekwa unazvo ndo yatingati temperament iyoyo. Saka tinoda kuona kuti kana tichibikira vanhu ava sadza tichivabikira mukitchen, vanhu vorudziva vanondodya sadza ratagadzira. What type of people are going to be eating from our table? So I want to combine temperaments, but on the top side I want to start off by advertising 4 main people that you're most likely to find. Number 1, you have those that are pretty.
Pretty.
Pretty on the face and pretty on the heart. Quite a group number 2, pretty ugly. Vakanaka kumeso, but their hearts are terrible.
Wow.
Beautiful faces, but horrible hearts. Kozo itama pretty ugly. Ava vakanaka moyo. Havana kunyatso kunaka havo. Zvinotaridza kumeso kuti munhu asi ukada kutarira pamoyo pake unoona uno rudo, une nyasha, une tsika, une chi. Kuzoti kusumudza meso utarira kumeso kuti zvakati omei asi zviri nyasi. Zviri nyasi zvakati nakei kudarika kune zviri kumusoro. Because the group number 4, they ugly. Ndokushata kumeso, ndokushata nomoyo. Seseri kwepoto.
Wow.
So I'm just saying these things on the top side. You, since you are the one who is cooking, you need to know who is going to be eating this meal. Are you preparing it for the pretty? Are you preparing it for the pretty ugly? Are you preparing for the ugly pretty? Or are you preparing for the ugly? I'm saying so that you don't go to the table with your food and you have lots of expectations. Sometimes expectations breed disappointment.
Yes.
Do not expect and over-expect anything from anybody. I have a proverb I've come up with now. I am qualified to work for the unthankful. Ukati dank, you must be surprised. But I'm not expecting it. If someone comes to you and says, thank you, please put your hands together for that person and say, you are one in a kind. Because by human nature, by nature, is ungrateful, is abusive. It wants to take. It's selfish. So when you are preparing your meal, you better be aware who will be sitting on the table. The pretty will appreciate you. That brings us to the first word, gratitude. And I'm talking to the people who are eating the meal now. Be thankful. Show an attitude of gratitude. When your mother has done something, when your wife has done something, when your children have done something, when your husband has done something, we can't spend all our lives emphasizing the wrong things that someone is always doing. You're always being picked. If you want better things out of people, start speaking positively unto them.
When you do good, good maybe because you are
an entitlement.
And the thank you I would have pakadaro. Because I would read a duty.
Yeah.
But in the tambura would indeed a duty don't get duty.
Ukapamu mari partisan. Shawar indi nongula mariangu. Ndio mariangu.
Exactly.
Uko ndatura mariangu ndikakupa. Iti dangi shamari. Be thankful. Because it doesn't mean that I have nothing to do with it.
Yes.
I'm extending myself, or let me speak like a preacher today. I'm extending my grace to you. And receive it with gratitude. So that you can encourage even mwana unokone wa kuchikoro, mwana usingagoni kwa zambeda, start off by encouraging him to do. Sinozo wageza wakanaka kudai mwanangu, msunupa mbeda pa wakawata, wawoni paka shiba udarika iwe. You start off from the positive. And always move over to the other elements that you want to start fixing in them. So gratitude becomes number one. As for the pretty, ugly, don't be deceived by their looks. For their hearts might bring you a shocking story altogether.
Wow.
Because the things that people harbor in their hearts are far much more than that which comes out through their teeth. So you go, you run around, muma disco umomo, light ratungidziwa radzimika, ukati, ishu chakatsukira ishu, chinama eyelashes, chakaisa, hey, piece ne extension, mazwano it's fake breast, fake bums, fake what, unokara kwa wabunganidza ama spare parts. Woshika kumba, unat, that pretty face, that's all there is. And there's nothing as embarrassing also as a pretty face with an empty head. Munonaka kunyeso, uvura muromuti, so it's not,
beauty without brains.
Do not just shop for faces. For faces don't make homes. Yeah, you are as confident as a person who plants his flowers next to the road. Everyone will pick it up. Challenge is not one day. Saka, if you want to be happy for the rest of your life, go back Dr. Love. Don't marry a beautiful woman. You'll be sad for the rest of your life.
But munwesa roda chakanaka, isn't it, Bishop?
Yeah, but you rather marry a prostitute who is committed to building a home than marrying a virgin who bear children from other men. That's for another day.
Ouch.
That's for another day. Yeah. So gratitude becomes an issue. If you are doing it for the ugly, pretty, you must be aware that they could have good things in their hearts, and their faces might not match up with what they are saying. But so you need to close your eyes so that you can see them. You know, and if you can't see them with your eyes closed, most likely you can't see them with your eyes open. If you can't see your partner when your eyes are closed, because that is the essence, the intrinsic part of the person that is present yet invisible. You need a relationship with that. Sometimes by table ugly. No matter what you do, no matter how you do it, no matter you buy flowers and you book a holiday, confess your sins. What's the problem now? Hakuna chakanaka chinobuda mukati momo endo kanzwa muna chikutuka ziva kuti tsime riri mukati mavo ride svina. Hauziwe une svina. Muna mashoko akashata zvinotaridza zviri pamoyo pake. So do not be discouraged when people say horrible things. Before I move over to the temperaments, I'm just giving you this. I'm introducing you to the types of people in terms of their physicality and the topographical explanation of their intrinsic internal values. Let's move over now to the temperaments.
Yeah.
4 major temperaments. Number 1, the sanguines. They are happy, jolly, fun to be with, always cracking a joke, tweeting, and vibrant people. If someone sees a happy person, they think that if they marry the happy person, they are going to be happy because they are sad, not knowing that they are going to destroy that person. Because you cannot give out what you don't have. And you are a sad person, you may discover that you're actually messing up the very person that was jocular, laughing, very pleasant.
Powerful.
You take the woman and put her in your house, take the husband and put him in your house, and you are an opposite temperament to that. Then all you do, the very thing that attracted you to them begins to become a frustration. Sanguines are happy. Group number 2, we call them the cholerics. The cholerics are very quiet, reflective leaders. My way or the highway. They don't take no for an answer. Brilliant in terms of executing plans. They want things done their way. They are like a project manager on a construction site. Logging in time and logging time out. Now you know the type of woman you have. Murip, kune iripo group yemazuvano isaye video call. Isaye video call ndoda kuona kuti zviri kufamba sei ipapo munani ndiri kunzwa kuti pane musikana anoseka kuti pana mai vanoseka ipapo. Sometimes you need just to understand the person that you are dealing with, that they are a project themselves and they are built like that. It takes an effort. I'll say that was the conclusion. It takes an effort to work from one temperament, especially when you know the good things of that temperament and the bad things of that temperament. By the way, ukanona mukadzi ani choleric, tanga project yokuvakaimba unoipedza. Chop.
Because she's a timekeeper, not as you
baba umwana, she can focus and get you out of your comfort zone, and you will get that thing done, whether to get rid of her or to accomplish the project, but she will drive you like a headmaster. No, but take note of the sanguine. The sanguine is always playful, who makes promises and does not fulfill them, and etc. They actually make a good match with the choleric, because then the choleric balances them up to say, no, it's not always about laughing. Sometimes get serious also. So you may find that a good partner to a sanguinic person could actually be a high choleric person, who then brings order and stability into. I remember very well a beautiful woman, Salim Mugabe, for example, and how he put structure to the president. I can't say much of the rest, but you know what I'm talking about. Third group, the melancholy. Melancholic people are artistic people. There's highly definition people, full of art. They always like designing, from clothes to their places where they stay. They simply live in the space of expression and innovation and creativity. Ungangosvika kumba iri kuona mbedha wataridzwa kumudhuri, wataridzwa pawindow, and they have an aesthetic. They have an aesthetic experience with life. Very good person to live with, but their problem, highly critical. They can see kuti nyango kaita hey piece yako, hey style yako yanga yakanaka asi dena hazo ukanotenga mota yakanaka asi dena yanga ukanovakaimba dena yanga. They always have that extra thing that they want to further critique on whatever is happening. And the last group are then the phlegmatics.
Pane avo unoziva mfundisi mbama kunoziva une marongedzera unoita iwo aunoziva kuti nyango murima magetsi aina anobata pakati ndinoona chakati iva vanobuwa iva vanhu vatora mfundisi unoona achinja
kavane ownership where they go, they own the space. The last group are the phlegmatics, who are deep thinkers, real thinkers, dry humor, and they don't even laugh. Those kind of people who they are present, they're enjoying life, but they enjoy life in their silence. And they tend to always find the sanguines as too noisy and etc. And they're very good at being custodians of issues, historical libraries. Ukaona mukadzi ari phlegmatic, a double decker, because they already have the female thing in them of storing information. If they become phlegmatic on top of that, it's a library of your errors, and nothing can go missing in that space. Now here we go. It does not mean that you are either sanguine or choleric or phlegmatic or melancholic. What it means, therefore, is that all of us have the 4 characteristics in us. This is psychology. You can Google around the temperaments on your greater space. All of us have the 4 qualities in us. The question is, which one is dominant in the person? So you may find that your dominant maybe could be choleric, and the next to that then could be melancholic, or then could be phlegmatic, and so on and so on. The issue is for you to go back. I want to challenge everybody to go back and study these temperaments and see the strengths of every temperament and the weaknesses of every temperament. The beautiful part, therefore, is how do you begin to develop the negative in your temperament and build yourself to become the better person in the relationship. Do not look for a good life partner. Be yourself the good partner. Don't look for a good cook. Be yourself the good cook. Don't expect them to be good eaters. Be yourself the good eater. You need to know where you are weak at so that you can begin to develop and become the better person in that relationship. Over to you, sir.
So in all this, yeah, I'm understanding and I'm getting there slowly but surely. So in other words, you're saying that one can be a phlegmatic and be able to link up with any of the other three classes.
Yes. Yes, you can link up with them, but then you need to know.
But is it also possible that a phlegmatic can also be with another phlegmatic?
Yeah, when those things happen, it becomes critical. Because then you're polarizing. A relationship is now on two people. If two strong-headed people, like cholerics, for example, meet together, that's a disaster of the highest order. Until one of them decides to step down. Until one of them says, no, let him win or let her win. Because remember, both of them, they don't take
but
no
Bishop,
for an answer.
In all these four classes that we've got of people, do we have a particular class that we say this one is mainly more to the female side and to the male side?
No, life is beautiful. They are equally balanced in life. These are found in, and by the way, some of them can be developed. This is a beautiful part about these temperaments. Some of them can be developed. You could find that a child who was born quiet and shyish, when they find an environment that is conducive and enabling, and friends that can joke and play and etc., they begin to walk out of their shells slowly and begin also to become a bit loud and I was not as talkative when I was young. I was very quiet, but I was surrounded by naughty boys who would harass me and sooner or later I discovered, hey, you may just discover that you are dying here. Get out also and talk. So I do a bit of art, a bit of drawing. I have more than 400 paintings I've done. So I'm a bit melancholic also in my own way. And I do some writing. So I can almost, because I do even some of the profiling. If you find yourself a psychologist in town or a psychometric examiner in a university, or you can even Google these things, you can actually do for yourself your own sampling of your own personality by answering certain questions. Then you can determine exactly where you are. But for me, what's important, know what you are good at, know what you are bad at, and then when you put the two together, you may just find out, how do I become the better person? By improving myself. It's always nice when you improve yourself from within. Than when you expect and you hear it from others, then it sounds like a critique to you. Sounds like they're criticizing you. But you're always like this. You're always like this. And then you feel like you're being attacked. Hey, what's wrong with you?
So
this is my life.
So how do I handle any of these classes now? In terms of understanding them, how should I handle a phlegmatic kind of a person?
The first thing I said was gratitude. And for me, what's important, I wish I could do a psychometric test even for our parliamentarians in parliament. You may find that it's just personality clashes. There's nothing sometimes to do with the arguments that are happening there, but this other person rubs them the wrong way. And I think many of us don't understand, number one, ourselves. Later on, to understand other people becomes a big challenge. Because all of a sudden you are very reflective, you are metric, and for organizational profiling, it's important. Because the person who is good at designs and arts and etc., you can put them there where they're not visible and their skills and the intrinsic part of them is flourishing so that they become a better employee. You know, you take someone who is always watching, like the phlegmatic, and you make him a team leader.
Tompinza mparliament anenge akangotarisa so
kubata
kosora chako
mvaza akapinda asatambotaura. Doesn't mean that he doesn't want to be there. Doesn't mean but for him to contribute, you needed to have moved the microphone to him and say, hey, vaningi manguva magara pano ko amuna mashoko ere amungativudzavo. And you may be shocked sometimes when you are sitting in these groups of people, when we are doing group counseling, that sometimes the most quiet person is the most reflective with some of the most in-depth inputs they can give. But you as a leader...
Then why do they keep quiet if any interesting inputs?
They're having a moment in themselves.
Then it will never materialize.
Are they not? Is it not?
It is their nature.
Is it not a sign of somebody who's just selfish with their information that don't want to share with other people? They only want to share when you poke them out.
When they listen to you making noise, they actually feel offended. You're making noise. The same judgment you are giving them, they're also looking at you and says, this world of noisy people, I don't want to become part of it. But when you create a conducive environment in a home, in a job, in a parliament, in an office, and of course later on in a bedroom, you may just be able to discover that life is not as difficult as it is, specifically when you understand who you are and what kind of a person are you dealing with.
But we are not saying that keep quiet. If you don't know anything, just open up your mouth and ask so that you understand other things. Because ngoramba wakanyarira toti vari varuziya zviri kuitika idieta hapana zviripo
chinosumudza roko chiri pamusangano taurai kavasibana. I agree with the last call with the last speaker, and then he sits down.
Just want to be noticed.
Those ones are usually sanguines because they like talking too much. They like talking. They will die if they don't talk.
6 minutes before 9 o'clock, it is our time. This is the Monday motivational and inspirational segment that we always get to do with Bishop Joshua Maponga. Just a recap of the four classes of people that we've got.
We have cholerics.
And they do what?
No, sanguines, they sing like the sanguine birds. The cholerics, reflective and deep, and leaders. The melancholies, they are the more artistic and aesthetics, phlegmatics. These are the gurus of the game. Back sitters, the watchers, the observers of what is happening around here. And I wanted to rush to something which was quite interesting. That as we are doing these temperaments, I wanted us to have just another extension into career selection. Because many of us end up stressing ourselves. Because you are of one temperament. And then you choose a job that is in another temperament and preference. Then you find yourself, yes, you have the money, you have the job, you have the office, but you're not satisfied. You're sad. Because this job actually squeezes the very temperament of you. Every day when people are asking you, so what's wrong with you? Imagine you're phlegmatic. Who loves their silence? And then you are put as a station manager, where everyone must be asking questions. By the end of the day, you're stressed. So what the hell do you want from me? Phone chino munhu it's very easy for them to get into depression.
So
and they collapse.
No character assassination. Tangoona kuti munova group chinotimba muno mugroup papi mfundisi.
Chinotimba sanguine number 1. Yeah, is a talker that one. And humor. Masanguine ndoma king of comedy. Do comedy. I have a bit of that also. I have a bit of that, but Chinotimba I could actually classify him as a sanguine, and looking at his dressing, I think he's not very artistic. On the leadership side, I might have to go closer and see what is his leadership style. And but full of humor, I think his priority will be single. Temba Mliswa is more or less towards the choleric, strong-minded, and very purpose-driven kind of thing. He wants to be there where it is happening. And I think back to that, he's got the phlegmatic tendencies. And the way he cuts his beard, he's a bit artistic, so he's aware of himself. And I think on the bottom side, I could put a sanguine. So it's you need to cascade them in that 4 level. But Temba, I think is more towards is intrinsically born with a strong sense of leadership.
You've been to Sanyati over the weekend. And what would you say to the MP for Sanyati?
MP for Sanyati,
Sanyati ndiani?
I'll have to check.
MP.
But let's just look at what you have seen when you've traveled in the area.
No, it's horrible. It's horrible.
What class of the person would you say?
The person is there.
The class of the person, phlegmatic, Sanguines?
Yeah, ndofunga ati ngamuwanira class iyi nokuti zvandakaona zvina kunaka ndoda kuti nditombomuona chake chake. No, I had a 4x4 fortunately. No, that road is horrible. That road is horrible. And if he's a temperament, I would call him a phlegmatic. He's just sitting at the back and watching. People are crying and everything else. By the way, phlegmatics make good doctors because they don't get easily affected by what is happening around. When all of you are saying there's blood, there's water, no, it's fine. He will get to the bottom of it with no stress, no panic, no nothing, and they'll get things done. So these temperaments have advantages.
Have you managed to discover who yourself you are in all these 4 classes?
Yes, I'm sanguine, followed by phlegmatic, then melancholy, and then choleric.
So in one person you can actually be 4 people.
You have all 4 temperaments, and then depends which one you want to develop, and which one you.
Which one have you developed?
I'm developing more on my phlegmatic side. I want to sit back. I want to reflect because I talk too much.
You can't.
You can't. That's difficult for you.
But that's what I want to develop because now I know what my weakness is. So when I walk into a meeting, I know the tendency is to dominate the meeting.
What do you?
I'm intrinsically I tell myself,
I want to be quiet.
Shut up.
And the demon in you manifest.
You want to come out? The demon wants to come out.
Just to wrap it off. In what class would you say he is?
Patsani is a happy boy. He's a happy boy. He's a sanguine. This one. He's wherever he is. There's laughter and
where do I fall?
Cracking.
Where do I fall in?
You are more towards you're choleric also in your own way.
Meaning what?
You're more like strong-minded but quietish. But I would rather put you more in a phlegmatic and choleric. I'm still struggling which one I would put you in.
Okay.
I want to far to Patsani. Let's not even argue about that. You're not going to get a leader, but you need to develop that. You need to develop that. Yeah.
Well, Zimbabwe, thank you so much for the time we've been together. Just a rundown again of the classes of people so people can note them down and get to understand.
You are sanguines are singers and talkers. Then cholerics are leaders. Then melancholies are more artistic. Phlegmatics are more reflective. And the biggest word for today is to access anything you want from anybody. Gratitude. Gratitude. Know your weaknesses and develop and work.
Just quickly, Bibi, which class does she fall in?
I've not engaged her much. Yeah, but she looks like she's a happy girl.
Sanguine. She's a sanguine. Okay, Zimbabwe, we do the second one.
She can diagnose herself.
Next week on Monday, right here on Power FM Zimbabwe, Bishop Joshua Maponga. Thank you for coming through to Power FM.
Fantastic. They can find us on our WhatsApp and our Facebook page. I think our WhatsApp number, I don't know where did you put it.
0719 425 406. 0719 425 406.
Farmers of Thought.
Farmers of Thought on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. If you look for me, you'll find me. If you look for me with all your heart.